There are just some things in our lifetime and lifetimes past that will forever be iconic, whether that's movies, video games, or maybe some of our favorite snacks from our childhood that they just got rid of for whatever reason. Why did they have to get rid of those mango sour Altoids? Those were like the best. Those things slap. Either way, in the grand scheme of things, no matter what it is, you always have those that come out on top, and they will be there for a long, long time, if not forever, including, of course, aftermarket wheels. Let's kick it back actually almost a full 4 years ago, May 30th, 2018. We did a video on the top 5 most iconic aftermarket wheels, and this video featured many of the greats that will forever be iconic, as well as a much younger Alex with a different set of glasses and a much different hairstyle. Wheels such as the American Racing Torque Thrust, the true muscle car wheel, the BBS RS, the old school Euro wheel that every E30 owner tries to get their hands on, of course the classic RPF1, the legendary Werkmeister, and of course none other than the Volk TE37. All fantastic wheels and deserving of that iconic label. However, that's not all. It's hard to really narrow it down to 5 wheels when there's still so many other iconic wheels out there. So we thought, what a perfect time to give an update on this video with 5 more iconic wheels of all time. Also, a quick reminder to subscribe if you haven't subscribed already, because, you know, we'd really appreciate it. First wheel of the day, all right? I feel like you can't have an iconic wheel list in 2022 without talking about the Blitz 03. Now, the Blitz was founded in 1981, none other than, of course, Tokyo, Japan, and they found a ton of success with the tuning market, marketing aftermarket performance parts, turbos, and pretty much everything else. We actually did a video not that long ago specifically about Blitz and the Blitz 03, you know, so you can go check that out if you want to learn more about it. But even though Blitz made a handful of wheel designs, the 03 is really the one that is, you know, not only taken the spotlight as of recently, but has always been a pretty iconic wheel. The split 5-spoke design just is an iconic Japanese wheel look, and it is something that, you know, since its release has made a big impact on multiple other wheel designs since then. Unfortunately, you know, the rise in popularity of the Blitz 03 in recent years, along with the fact that they are no longer made, has put these wheels at a pretty hefty price point. So I'm sorry to all the MR2 owners out there, your favorite wheel just got even harder to get. Either way, they're a fantastic looking wheel, and they've aged super well. And like I said, it really kind of set the standard for what a split 5-spoke wheel should be. Keeping with the 5-spoke family of iconic wheels, of course, we have the Desmond Regamaster coming in at wheel number 2 for the day. A monoblock 5-spoke wheel with a step lip that just looks so damn good on pretty much any car you can throw it on, specifically FD RX-7s, if I don't say so myself. As a forged monoblock wheel, the Desmond Regamaster does literally everything right, coming in at an incredibly lightweight. It still keeps all the strength that's required of it for, you know, racing purposes and all that sorts, you know, thanks to the solid piece of forged 6061 aluminum that they're made from, making it one of the lightest wheels ever produced. Depending on the size of these wheels, it came in 3 different variants, but the popular one that you see a lot of people going after being the Regamaster Evo, which was intended specifically for racing purposes. However, also the most expensive and the most rare. Fun fact about these wheels is, you know, as much as you would like to think that they're made in Japan, if you were to actually get your hands on an original set of Regamaster Evos, you'd find a Made in Russia stamp on the back of the spokes, which is a little fun fact for you to know. With these wheels going out of production for quite some time, you can imagine an already rare wheel becoming even more popular and rare. It become a little more expensive. Luckily enough, they brought it back, which is super cool. You don't see a lot of people do that, and they brought it back without, like, you know, completely changing it and calling it the same thing. I'm looking at you, Mitsubishi. The Desmond Regamaster Evo 2 was brought back just a few years ago, which is, you know, great for enthusiasts like you and me. It seems the common trend with a lot of these iconic wheels is that unfortunately they just aren't readily available for purchase anymore, simply because they either aren't in production or they're just super hard to get. But that still doesn't stop the constant want and popularity for a rare set of Japanese wheels, much like the Work VSKF, the Japanese muscle car wheel. It's fair to say that pretty much all of the VS family of work wheels can fall into this list. However, the VSKF is just one of those wheels that stand out the most among the rest of that lineup. A favorite among the 350Z and S chassis owners, the VSKF looks good on just about any Japanese car you can imagine. And since these are another multi-piece wheel, we've seen people rebuild these things into some pretty wild specs to fit pretty much whatever car they're throwing it on. Now, I know we've been talking about some pretty old school wheels here, but let's just kick it back even a bit further, where 14 and 15-inch wheels were king. When you think of small wheels for some old school Japanese cars, you better be thinking about the RS Watanabe. Now, typically when you look at people building cars like old Datsuns and Hachirokus, or if they manage to get their hands on like an old Skyline, the RS Watanabe 8-spoke wheel is usually going to be that wheel of choice, and for good reason. It's a seriously lightweight wheel straight from Japan in the small sizes that work for these cars. Not to mention, when you have like offsets, like a +0 offset on an 8-wide wheel, it looks pretty good. And it comes in like a crazy deep dish look. The actual design of the RS Watanabe wheel screams old school Japan styling, which is, really set the standard for any new wheels coming out in similar sizes. When you look at other 14, 15-inch wheels of today, take a lot of inspiration from them because they target the same market. They just worked so well for those cars, so much so that they've even started to release larger sizes for newer vehicles, getting up to 17 and even 18-inch diameters. It may seem like this list has just really been about some old, cool Japanese wheels, and yes, it has been. And I don't know what to tell you because Japan makes some killer wheels. To close out the list for today, we have arguably one of the most iconic wheels of all time, especially when it comes to its design, because it's a 3-spoke design. That's right, the Super Advan SA3R, the 2-piece 3-spoke wheel. That's a lot of numbers. The Super Advan is pretty abstract wheel when it comes to its design, as you can tell, and whether or not you love it or you hate it, you can't argue the fact that it's a super iconic wheel. When you think of a 3-spoke wheel, typically, the Advan is always the one that you're gonna think of. You can find these things on a wide variety of 90s and early 2000s JDM cars, from your RX-7s, your MR2s, and even your S-chassis and Skylines. We've seen these wheels start to make a bit of a comeback into the spotlight again as people are looking for that next wheel, from that early tuner generation to go with their builds, as when they can't get their hands on things like the Blitz 03s and VSKFs anymore. These 3-spokes, they're coming in hot. So let us know down in the comments below what wheels you think we missed, or if we need to make another one of these, maybe focus on some Euro brands like BBS and whatnot. And of course, if you're looking for some wheels, tires, or suspension, don't forget to hit us up at fitmentindustries.com, and don't forget to subscribe so we can keep making killer videos like this. Thank you guys so much. I'm Joes from Fitment Industries. We'll see you later.